While I might be working on creating my next level dream life right now, this life I'm currently living was once just a dream to me. Back then, I lived a very different reality, one of dissatisfaction, apathy, and disempowerment. I was waiting for someone to save me, and it wasn't cute. But I made one small change that entirely changed my life to create the business success, balance, and life I now adore. It all started with my morning mindset routine.
Hello, my love. Before I take you behind the scenes and share with you the secrets of my morning mindset routine, I want to chat about something that I think is really important when sharing this type of content. And it is this question: how realistic is this? When I first discovered mindset work and the power it had to completely transform our lives, I was a little bit put off by a lot of the advice and the guidance that I was finding online, because so much of it was suggesting that I put aside huge swathes of time to dedicate to journaling, yoga, meditation, all of these things, and I certainly didn't have that kind of time at my disposal. At the point at which I found out about mindset work, my daughter was, I think, coming up for 4 years old. She used to bound into my room every morning, wake me up at the crack of dawn, bouncing on the bed, bouncing on my head quite often. And the day would just roll on from there, getting her ready for nursery, making sure the bags were packed, the shoes were on the right feet, and we were out of the door at the right time. I didn't have time, I felt like, for one of these morning mindset routines or any kind of morning routine that was nourishing for me that I was learning about online. So it felt really unrealistic. But I'm not the sort of person who gives up easily. So, because I was really quite taken with this idea that what you do in the morning and working on your mindset, combining these two things could really change the game. And so I was determined to find a way to make it work for me as a busy mother and business owner. So what I created back then was this 3-step approach to a morning mindset routine that has stood the test of time for me and legit changed my life. I'm going to share with you a little bit later in this video some of the things that it did for me. It's going to knock your socks off, and it's not just me. I have shared this with so many other clients at this point and so many other friends. I will share this with anybody because I'm basically evangelical about mindset work at this stage in the game because it's so transformational. So we created this 3-step approach consisting of things I could actually do realistically as a mother and a business owner. And the key to this approach is that it is flexible, so that it has been able to bend with me and my circumstances and seasons of life and different things that I need and require. And consequently, it's got me through those early wake-ups as a mum of a young child all the way through to now, and I'm just going to keep going with this. There's no stopping me at this point. Now that my daughter's actually 11 and I've had my business for 5.5 years. So during that time, our lives have changed a ton. Our family rhythms and routines have changed a lot. We've moved house recently, as you know. That threw our normal morning structure and routine up in the air. We have to all get up earlier now. And yet I've been able to adapt my morning mindset routine to fit the phase of life that we're in so that it keeps fueling me, keeps working on my mindset, and keeps heading me in the direction towards whatever is my next level dream life. So while our lives have changed and the things that I'm doing within this 3-step approach have changed over time, what hasn't changed is the consistency with which I've been able to show up for it, because it's flexible, because it is realistic for me as a mother and a business owner. Plus, this works. Later in this video, I'm going to share some incredible things that this morning mindset routine has made possible for me and other women that I know. So if it's possible for us, it's possible for you too, so definitely stick around for that. And while I'm about to share with you what my routine looks like right now, the specifics will be unique to me, but it is the structure and the 3-step approach that you can really use and adapt to suit you. And I'm confident that you can take these 3 steps and make them work for you regardless of what your circumstances are right now and how many kids you have. And actually, I'm really going to be testing this out and putting this 3-step approach to a morning mindset routine through its paces soon, because when we hit life on the road and we're living largely out of our converted camper van, it's going to be interesting trying to carve out some me time and some spaciousness in the morning, but I'm still confident that I'm going to make this work. And also, I have to say, this has been such a game changer for me that at this point, wild horses could not drag me from my morning mindset routine. So I will find a way to make it work. So without further ado, let me share my morning routine.
I start my weekdays at 6:25 a.m, but my morning routine really starts the night before when I set myself up for success, a little habit I learned years ago from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. You'll see some of the preparations that I've made as we go through this. So the first thing I do is I pick up my journal. I managed to rid myself of the habit of checking my phone first thing years ago, and I'm so happy I did. Our brains are so receptive in the morning that cramming it with other people's agendas, lives, and highlight reels can feel super toxic to me. When I go to bed, I put my phone on airplane mode so that it's one extra step should I be tempted in the morning. I keep my journal and pen by my bed next to my phone, so I just automatically reach for it. Okay, the next bit is going to be a little bit TMI, brace yourself, but I said this was realistic. I actually take my journal into the bathroom with me for, that start of the day bathroom activity. Obviously, that would be super weird to film. So this morning I took my journal instead and sat on this lovely little seat in my office. But journaling is the first part of my morning mindset routine, and it's what I do to manifest. There are loads of other things you could do instead of journaling, but for me, there's something about the mind, hand, pen, page connection that just really works. I use a practice called future gratitude to get my mind and thoughts aligned with what I want to be creating and the direction I want my life to be moving in. This is where my dream life starts, in my journal first, before it becomes a reality. More on that in a bit. I literally spend about 5 minutes journaling, and let's be real, when my daughter was smaller, I would just actually lock the bathroom door so I had those few minutes of peace and focus, and don't worry, she had another parent present. So next I get dressed, and again, I had set myself up for success here by laying out my workout clothes the night before. By doing this, I take the decision out of my day. It's not an if I will work out, it's when. And although that won't be happening just yet, I put on my workout clothes to signal to myself that I'm going to be moving my body, and I keep rolling with that intention. Lately, I've been spending about 3 to 5 minutes doing some yoga stretches before I actually go and wake up my daughter. This is a fairly new feature to my morning routine, and it isn't really part of my 3 steps as such, but I just love some quiet time tending to my body, and just these few minutes make such a difference because they build in that slow pace and intentionality, which otherwise can feel a bit hard to create in the go, go, go energy of mornings as a family. So next up will probably be very familiar if you're a mum too. Waking up my daughter. She's not a morning person, which is good in that I can wake up before her without having to get up at like 5 a.m. But it's also challenging when she doesn't really want to get out of bed on a school day. I'm looking forward to our family gap year when there will be no need for her to march to the tune of the school's agenda, and we can go at her own pace. I tend to just sit and chat with her while she's getting dressed, and we'll often sort and fold laundry or something like that at this time. Like I said, this is real life. I also get a load of washing in at the start of the day. Then we're into the breakfast, packing lunch boxes and getting out of the door. That you'll all be familiar with, I'm sure. My husband actually takes our daughter to school most days, so after they've gone, it's time for step 2 of my mindset routine, move. You'll notice that I set myself up here by rolling out my yoga mat the night before. And if I'm 100% honest, I sometimes just leave it out. Let's just gloss over that. I like to mix up my workouts. So some days I'll do weights, and actually I'll do those outside. Some days a high intensity workout. I love Heather Robertson's videos for those, or a Pilates style session, or some good old yoga with Adriene. Damn, I love that woman. For me, what's important is showing up and moving my body. I've given up on fitness goals like flat abs, that was never going to be a thing for me, or being trim for a holiday. For me, it's just about long-term health and well-being at this point. I just feel so much better when I've moved my body at the beginning of a day. But how is a workout part of a mindset routine? Well, moving the body releases feel-good chemicals, and for me, it's a great practice of getting energy literally moving and flowing. So I find that on the days when I don't do some kind of movement, I do end up feeling kind of sluggish or having an afternoon slump, and that impacts my creativity and how I can show up for my business and even the thoughts that I'm thinking. So for me, there's such a connection between movement and a positive outlook. So that's step 2, movement. Some days I'll have half an hour. Some days I literally just spend 5 minutes doing some star jumps. Those are jumping jacks if you're somewhere else in the world, outside. Again, let's keep this realistic. The last part is easy to skip if you know you have a full day or a busy day ahead, but it makes such a difference, and it is this: motivate. So the purpose of this step for me is to feel really inspired or fired up and excited for the day ahead and whatever I'm working on. So I switch this one up and have a few different practices that I alternate between, but today, it's as simple as listening to something uplifting and empowering on YouTube while I'm doing my makeup, brushing my teeth, that kind of thing. So here I use the concept of habit stacking from Atomic Habits to tie this helpful mindset routine into my existing habits to make this really easy to stick to. I used to actually double up and listen to something motivating like a YouTube video, a podcast, or a self-development audiobook while I was working out. But lately, I actually like having the space for thoughts and creativity to come through while I'm doing that. Because I'm not fancy, it takes me about 5 minutes to apply my makeup. This final step only lasts for this period of time and is again realistic. So the point with this final piece is, if you can, do it as close to starting your day as possible so that you're feeding your mind intentionally with something high vibe before sitting down to work. By this time, I'm usually in such a high vibe place and excited to settle into some creative work, which is what I actually prioritize for the start of the day when I'm most fresh. Okay, so let's have some real talk about what even is the point of a morning mindset routine. Does it even work though? I happen to have some pretty compelling evidence for you. In a nutshell, my dream life, the life that I'm living right now, literally started with a morning mindset routine. Mindset work is so effective, like super duper effective, because what we believe is what we get. If we believe we can do a thing, we can do the thing. If we don't believe we can do the thing, we can't do the thing. I'm really rehashing that quote, but you get the point. And the cool thing is our minds are incredibly powerful tools. And so having a mindset practice means we're leveraging this power to create and experience the things that we So having a mindset practice means we are leveraging the power of our minds intentionally to create experiences and things that we desire. I discovered mindset work when I was on the brink of unemployment and recovering from major surgery. It was a pretty pivotal time in my life. My life was not a dream life back then. I was struggling to juggle family time, being a mum, and my career, and I felt like I was failing on all fronts, and I spent a lot of my time, frankly, pretty miserable. But I began to understand that my mindset had been creating the experience of life that I was living, and so I set about changing my mind in order to change my life. I designed what I thought would be my ultimate dream life in a journal back in 2017. And at the time, as I was writing everything down, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking to myself, who am I kidding? This is ridiculous. This will never happen to me. But there was something in me that felt like, well, there's nothing stopping me giving this mindset work a shot. I'm not really enjoying my life right now. I may as well try this and see what happens. So I stuck with it. I created myself a mindset practice daily. And fast forward from there, only a few short months after discovering all this, I had been made unemployed and I'd recovered from my surgery. I decided to start my own business and it really just took off. I experienced quite significant success really quite quickly, and I put all of that down to the fact that I had paved the way up until that and then beyond with this mindset work that I'd been doing. So I went from being overwhelmed and then unemployed
unemployed to launching my business. And within 3 months of launching it, I had replaced my corporate salary. I worked at an investment bank, by the way, so it wasn't a small salary. And within 7 months of launching, I had doubled that. I hit 6 figures in revenue in a very short space of time. And I never really looked back from there. I was having the time of my life. I was doing work that finally fulfilled me, finally felt like it mattered, finally felt like I was making a difference and an impact. I was earning amazing money. And the best part was I was working far fewer hours. I back then used to work a maximum of 25 hours a week. These days, I work quite a lot less. And I was spending so much more time with my daughter, and I was finally getting time for myself. This was literally my dream. And also, just to add into the mix, the cherry on top of the cake was that I was able to work from home. Now, this was pre-pandemic when everyone started doing it all the time, and I was the master of my own schedule, my own boss, working from home. I literally used to just every day feel like, pinch me, I can't believe I created this. So what changed really was me. I changed my mindset. I changed the thoughts that I was routinely thinking. I changed my view of what was possible for me. I started to expand my mind to hold greater possibilities and to dare to believe a better life was available to me. So working on my mindset changed my life and made my dream life a reality fast. But what actually enabled me to shift my mindset so much, to completely reprogram the thoughts that I was thinking? My morning mindset routine. It was the consistency, a small little pocket of work on my mindset every day. And it was the consistency over time that really made these big wins. And I can't underline enough, underline, how much it was the small but daily action, not massive action. I am so over hearing that. Massive action. No, that is not the key to success, unless you really want it to be. Just a few minutes journaling, for example, not mandatory, moving my body and fueling my mind with something that lit me up, something that sparked creativity or inspired or motivated me. That's it. Some days I had 6 minutes to dedicate to this whole thing. Some days I had a little bit longer. I just took what was available and used it with intention. And what really mattered was showing up for it daily. And it's not just me, and that's why I'm creating this particular video. I don't say any of this. I'm not sharing with you how I changed my life and how I now live what was back then my ideal dream life to boast or brag. Ew. But because I want to inspire you, if you feel like you can see a dream life that you would love to be living, I want you to know how much more possible it is than you've maybe been thinking, and how massive action is not required, but just a small morning mindset routine daily is the thing that can make the biggest difference in my experience. And it's not just me. So I have shared this 3-step approach with countless clients and friends at this point. I'm a success coach, by the way, and I've seen it play out again and again and again. This really works. So if it can work for me and it can work for my friends, my clients, it can work for you too, my love. Maybe your dream life is only a morning mindset routine away.